step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood so I am relentless.
All right. Well, this is a Keep Hammer. Are we live, right?
We're live.
Keep Hammer Collective with Max. Well, I don't want to screw this up, but I say in my head, I see Jolliffe.
That's exactly correct.
Is that right?
People mess it up all the time, but you nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of F's and I's and stuff.
Too many F's, too many E. There's an E at the end that you probably don't really need, but yeah.
Well, man, let's see. Let me think about how I found out I found out about you from Tyler.
Yeah.
And during Moab, I believe.
Moab, yeah.
And this is, I'll just like cut to the chase. So you sent me the link to your film, King of Moab, and I knew about the race because of that call that day during the race. But the film, dude, it's amazing. It's like I'm addicted to ultra, and not because I'm like this world class or whatever. I just love the storytelling of a good film. Billy Yang has done a good job with it.
He's amazing, yeah.
Courtney's had some really good ones on her. The Source was one that stands out to me. But your film that I just watched the other night was, I don't want to disrespect any other film, but dude, it is powerful.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That seriously means the world to me. And we spent a lot of time. I mean, the film's been in the works for almost a year now. Mm-hmm. And me and Tyler, shout out to Tyler Wolter. I mean, just an incredible, incredible filmmaker. I know you've done some work with him in the past, and yeah, he just like knocked it out of the park. And luckily I was able to pull off something amazing to really make the story complete.
Oh, I just like that, we go through these long races and there's so many ups and downs. We turned
on the warm filter.
I know the disco light's going. It's all good. Did you fix it already? It seems a little different. Well, for the listeners, we just had a little, I don't know what, little light issue.
Okay, back.
We're back.
We're partying.
Set the mood.
Yeah, no, that's good though. We just need some cigarette smoke in here. It's like an interrogation. But no, that race, that film, I'd seen The Beach Kid, I think is another one on you. Yeah. And that's when I watched that. And I think afterwards, because I'm like, dang, this guy, I like this guy's persona or just how he portrays himself. And then I watched that one, and then I heard or learned more about your story, overcoming addiction and, all this stuff. But in that film, you're just so vulnerable and real. That's what stood out to me.
Yeah, thank you.
And you just explained the struggles you were going through and how it felt.
Right.
What to you, I know you did a premiere back in your hometown. Mm-hmm. What stands out to you on that experience?
Well, I thought the coolest thing was, and a lot of my friends and family, they know I'm out there running these 100-mile races, 240-mile races, and they know it's like this crazy endeavor that I'm undertaking, and it's gnarly, and it was cool for me to show them like kind of firsthand like what actually goes into all this, and for them to see the struggle. I think it just like gave everyone a perspective on just how hard these things really are, and how beautiful the landscapes are, and like maybe gave some of my friends an understanding of like why I'm doing this. Yeah.
Did they got it? The people at the premiere?
Yeah, I mean, after the film ended, I was standing there up front by the stage, and it was for 45 minutes I was just shaking hands, and people, the response from everyone was just incredible. Yeah, just mind blowing. Yeah,
I think I told you, but I mean, got choked up watching it.
Yeah.
It was like, I can't think of another word but powerful.
Yeah, thank you, and I seriously could not have done it without you.
Oh.
Like, in the film, there's a moment where I get a video message from Cam.
Oh my God.
You were killing it out there, Moab 240. What an epic event. And I cannot believe you were right there. You're right there, so close to first place. And I know it's tough. I know the pain you're feeling now is probably seems unbearable.
Dude.
But you were on the home stretch.
Just watch
All your
it.
hopes and dreams
Let
are
him
right
watch
there in
it.
front of you. Go get them. Now's the chance to create that legacy you've always dreamed of. Let's make a story. You know, that's why we do events and put ourselves through things like this, is because we want a story to tell. What's your story going to be?
Oh,
Is it going to be that you
story.
reeled in first place and won the Moab 240? I hope so. Keep hammering, brother.
Damn.
And it was seriously, and I've told you this, it was the catalyst that led me to this crazy come from behind victory. Like I was in almost an impossible situation to come back from. And I got this message from you, and I don't know if we can like play it on the podcast or if we have a copy of it or something, but it was just the most inspirational message that I could have even gotten at that point. And that, you know, set me on fire, and I ended up winning the race, and really like my life changed because of you. So I'm like forever in debt to you. Yeah.
Dude, that's so nice. Just to set the stage, you were, I think, 40 miles to go, 15 miles back. Is that what it was?
So at the mile 200, the Geyser Pass aid station, I was 15 miles behind the leader.
Right.
Which with 40 miles to go is
not looking good.
No.
Yeah.
And I was in rough shape. That section that I had come through, getting into that aid station was by far the most difficult. And it was just like a miracle that I was able to get my legs back and start running good again late in the race.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple things that stand out to me. I mean, you struggling so much, and I know how it feels. Maybe not exactly, because everybody's different, but I heard you guys were doing 1 mile an hour.
But yeah,
Something like
Yeah.
and you know as well as I do, if you're doing a 240-mile race,
right,
1 mile an hour, not going to work.
No.
Especially if the goal is to win.
Right. Yeah. And I was right there, and it was just, we had encountered this section where it seemed like everything was going wrong. Like we got lost, we ran out of water, my watch died, his phone died. Just everything was going awry. And it was like, I remember being 3 or 4 miles out from that aid station, and I kept going like, how far is the aid station? How far is the aid station? And we were just 4 miles for like an hour. And I was like, oh my God, this is so brutal.
Yeah. Well, the part that really got me, I mean, of course, seeing somebody struggle and fight with all they have. But when you said, the line that stands out to me was, God gave me my legs back.
Yeah.
I
mean, multiple times during that race.
Yeah.
It was from mile 140 on, each crude aid station I'd come into, it was, my legs were so shot. I would look down at my quads, and my muscle fibers in my quads were just like fluttering.
Right.
And somehow I would just lay down for a quick 40-minute nap, and I'd get up and I'd be like, oh, my legs actually feel like maybe I can make it to the next aid station. It was just like, okay, let's just get to the next spot. And after that last stop, it was like my legs had fully come back, and I ran some of my fastest splits of the entire race after that Geyser Pass aid station at mile 200.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know, what powerful, incredible story. And you talking about that, the pain, I have this massage therapist, and we were talking about it last night. And it's like when people feel, it seems like, and you can tell me your perspective, when they feel closest to God is when you're suffering so much, because in regular life, people aren't reaching out to God for help. It's like, it's all good, whatever. But when you're desperate,
Yeah.
when you have nowhere else to turn, that's when people start talking to God. And that's when you talk about suffering, and that's when people, that's when you feel his presence. And is that what?
Yeah, I felt the power, and it was like, I was just sitting there thinking like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to even finish this race. And I pride myself on being someone who's like never going to quit, never going to give up. Like I never DNF'd a race. And I, like each one of those aid stations, I was like really questioning my spirit. Like, am I going to even be able to finish this thing, And, it was like just a power greater than myself that came over me. And, I have a hard time even taking credit for it, like the win, the race, like it was not only a team effort, like I had all my friends, I had my family there, my girlfriend Mackenzie, like it's really this, weirdly this team sport. Like I had a group of people that were almost like carrying me along, and I'm just like the vehicle. And yeah, it was mind blowing, just the whole experience. And that being my first 200-mile race. And yeah, it was, I had no idea that I was even going to come close to winning. And just a miracle.
Oh, it was, yeah, amazing. Do you ever, I like that attitude where you're never going to quit. This is who you are. I know I've been in like long things like that or really tough situations. And I start talking to myself going, I'm a fake. I'm not even,
dude.
I pretend like I'm not tough because I want to quit.
Yeah.
And it's just like you start, I don't even know how to explain it.
It's like kind of an imposter syndrome thing.
You're
like,
a fraud.
Yeah. Like people are going to find out that I'm not actually that good of an athlete. You know, I'm just like really good at suffering or being able to manage and deal with pain. But no, I totally get that.
Yeah, because you start to question yourself and like everything you stand for. But that's what's so special about it too, is because where else are you ever gonna be faced with that reality, you know? And I know, but when we push through and we overcome, then okay, well, maybe we're back on track.
That's the magic. Yeah.
That's the magic. But yeah, I want to talk about, your girlfriend was a key part of that.
Yeah.
I loved how you guys, you had so much strategy.
Right.
That's where I learned a lot from that.
Yeah. And that was kind of I knew I was kind of an underdog. Like I've only been a professional ultra runner for a year, and every race I'm just like trying to learn and like really learning things on the fly. Like with Moab, I didn't know how I was going to handle the sleep deprivation, like dealing with keeping my nutrition up for 69 hours straight, dealing with hydration, like my gear, God, I learned so much about like my feet and taking care of my feet and chafing and stuff. Like those were like some of the biggest issues that like really, really affected me. So going into this thing, I was just like kind of winging it. And I did everything that I could to prepare just all the factors that I knew I had control of. Like I really nailed my hydration. I really nailed my nutrition. The sleep actually worked out pretty well for me as well. And I just tried to be the most prepared person going into that race. And I don't know if anyone trained more than me in that race. Yeah, I was for an entire year from when I entered the lottery, I was like, my entire year is being dedicated to Moab 240. And I ran probably 100 plus mile weeks aside from maybe a couple down weeks after races, but it was like 120, 130 mile weeks for the entire year. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize that. People are always pretty fixated on that mileage and how much you get. And, you know, there's different approaches. That's what's crazy about, especially these long ones. And Courtney and I talked about, we don't know if you can really nail the 200 plus, but like the 100 plus, if you look at David Roach, you know, we talked about this, Courtney and I did, about how people are kind of dialing in the 100-mile distance. Right. It's one day. It's no sleep issues. You're just like, you get, as you said, the hydration, the nutrition, the training, and you can kind of predict what's going to happen. Right. The 200, so many different factors.
Many outside factors.
I was curious, how much did you sleep?
So I slept a total of, I think, an hour and a half. So 3 40-minute naps at 3 of the crude aid stations, and then 1 or 2 just 5-minute dirt naps, which was kind of a crazy experience, like laying down. Like the story of Courtney when she lays down for 1 minute and wakes up and is like, how long was I asleep? And they're like, 1 minute. And she's like, all right, let's go. Like it felt like that. Like I had gone out for 5 minutes and I was like, you let me sleep for too long. And he's like, no, it's 5 minutes. Let's go. Yeah.
It's nuts how that works. Right. I don't know if it's like sustainable for life, but
it's definitely not healthy. No,
it does work in those moments. Me and Taylor did that too. I think maybe a Bigfoot, but yeah, same thing. Just like thought I slept forever and wasted all this time. It's like, no, a minute.
It's like a time warp.
It's so crazy. So, okay. So what'd you say? 3 40-minute, how much did you say it? An hour?
About an hour and a half total, I think. Yeah. Like there's a part of me where I think the sleep is really crucial for your mind. Like I know people get really delirious and have hallucinations and stuff. And if you're experiencing something like that, like you probably should go unconscious for a short amount of time to reset your brain. But I didn't have any I felt like I could have stayed awake the whole time. The stops and the sleep was, I felt more restorative for my body in a weird way, like for my legs. And maybe I could have just sat there for 40 minutes and my legs would have maybe horizontal, just sat there and my legs would have come back. But I really didn't feel like, I didn't have any hallucinations. I was very coherent and clear-minded the entire race. So I still don't even know what the proper sleep formula is.
That's kind of the point. It's like, and I've never hallucinated either. And I think I slept for like a couple hours during that race. I didn't finish as fast as I was like in 78 or 9 or something like that. So a little slower, but still, it's weird just how everybody's body is. I don't know. That's what's fascinating about the multi-day races.
Right. And does nutrition and hydration play a factor in how your mind is working?
Your brain works.
There's so many. It's a giant math equation.
What would this do? Like, what would a Ketone-IQ do?
Oh, I was drinking these every stop. Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to have one right now.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Here, cheers.
Oh, yeah.
There
we go. Thanks, Michael Brandt, Jeffrey Wu.
Shout out.
No, these... when I first started taking these, I was like, God, those taste terrible. Now I'm used to it.
The peach ones are good.
Yeah, now I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so that is interesting. I've always wanted like a Huberman or a Dr. Galpin to study like the sleep deprivation, just pushing like because I've talked to Huberman so many times about willpower. I was fascinated about why somebody can push and why other people can't.
Right. The power of the mind.
Yeah. How can somebody push like a coordinator like you, or like when anybody else would quit?
I have no idea. And like, maybe that's just comes down to the character of the person and the life that they've lived and all of their experiences leading up to like that moment where you're there having to make a decision. Like, do I continue on or do I give up?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm fascinated by why certain people can just not quit and just keep, and it hurts. You can't even really explain the pain, or I can't, but it's just like, all you want to do is stop.
Yeah.
But you can't.
You can't. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's the competition. Maybe it's just, like I said, life experience. Like, I've dealt with a lot of struggles in life, and I know that no matter what situation I'm in during a race, I've been in worse spots and I've overcome more difficult things, like getting sober. Like, that was the hardest thing I ever did in my entire life. And no matter how much pain I'm in, I just know that I can get through it no matter what, as long as I just don't give up, just keep moving forward, Even if it's just walking 1 mile an hour, like, you can keep moving, like, and just problem solving along the way. Like, it's just a big math equation. Like, are you low on nutrition? Are you low on hydration? Do you need more electrolytes? Do you need this or that? It's like anything can change how you're feeling in a race like that. And you're always going to feel different, maybe 30 minutes, an hour later even. So, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's but that's why we love it. I guess that's why we love it. I think
it's the challenge. It's doing hard things.
I'm trying to think why I love it. So it's like, I know I love the mountains.
Yeah.
I know I love cool people. I know I love doing big adventures. So I guess that's enough.
That's more than enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And any one of those things would be enough.
Right. And then you want to see what you're capable of. Right. So that's why we do it.
Testing yourself.
Yeah. So you got this distance. How long is it going to take you to cover that distance?
Right.
With these conditions.
Where are they going to draw the line for these races? Like, I know Candace is doing the 300 starting this year. Like, where does it end?
I don't know. I know Courtney and I always talked about wanting to do 500.
That's badass.
And she, that's a Colorado trail essentially.
Right.
So she tried that for the FKT. But that sleep definitely plays a part in that. But yeah, it's pretty exciting to think about. Okay, so we got the training. The training, you're putting in tons of miles.
Yeah.
I'm curious about like how is your body holding up during like the 120, 130 mile weeks? And would you do all your runs at one time or split them up?
So I was really just focused on volume, and I kind of structured my year with races leading up to Moab. So I ran this race called Sean O'Brien. It was 100K. And then in April, I ran this 100-miler called Leona Divide. And then I ran TDS at UTMB a couple months after that. So I had kind of structured my year with increasing the difficulty of these races, and just try to be super, super consistent with my training. It was like after I'd finish a race, it was like I'd barely take any time off. And I'm on a run streak, so I still have to run every day, which kind of sucks, especially after a 100-miler or a 200-miler having to limp a mile the next day. But I really just wanted to focus on keeping my training super consistent throughout the year. So it was like I didn't let up off the gas. It was like as soon as I finished one race, it was straight into training for the next one. And I think all of that fitness compounded leading into Moab and just put me in like a really, really good spot. And my body handled the mileage fine. Like I spent a long time like building up, like my run streaks like over 3 years. So I've spent a really long time building my mileage really, really slowly. And I could have done it better. Like I could have done more specific workouts, and like the whole David Roche training theory that we're seeing on his YouTube now, it's like so different than what I was doing for a race like Moab. And maybe it does need to be different for a race like Moab, but maybe being more specific with my training could have been good. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out. I don't have I've never had a coach. I'm just like kind of winging. I'm just kind of winging it. You know?
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
How critical do you think that the races are in between that? Because as we know, we push harder in a race, so you could get the same mileage in training by yourself, but how important is that, the race experience?
Yeah, I think the race forces you to push yourself and do a really hard effort. And that the races leading up can be like good, like benchmarks for seeing where your fitness is at. And one of my I'd say he's like my mentor in ultra running, Jesse Haynes.
Yeah.
Dude's a legend, and he does the same thing. Like he'll plan his year and race, like he races to train, like he does races in training for other races. So I thought that was like really cool and super helpful, and I think it was super beneficial to me too, just with my year this year.
Yeah, so it's like most of the time they'll have an A race. I remember excuse me, but I remember way back my first ultra, I believe, do you know who Scott Jurek is?
Yeah. I met Scott at TRE this year. Super nice guy. He's incredible person. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, I know, and just a legend. But so this is 2005, and it was just 50K up here in Corvallis called McDonald Forest, and I ran it, and I don't know, I think it was the first or second time ultra, but he ran slow, and I was like, man, this is a legend. He's won Western 7 times or whatever it was, but that was just, it wasn't. He just wanted time on the feet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're not going for PR every time.
Right, and you got aid stations set up along the way, so it's logistically an easy way to do a huge day, a 50-mile day, and like not have to worry about, like getting your fuel and everything. Yeah.
So why would he care about winning McDonald Forest? When his bigger goal is to win Western. So I didn't understand that A race, this and that. I thought every time you go out, it's to win, right? And but yeah, that's interesting. Because I watched your film. I think you said TDS.
TDS, yeah.
Yeah, that's the UTMB race.
It's a race at UTMB. Yeah, it's a 100-miler. It's like, I think people call it the evil stepsister of the UTMB main race. It's like known for being more technical. It's a little bit shorter, but it was like a really, really hard race. And what's cool about that race is it starts at midnight. So you're kind of doing almost a multi-day. It's like you're running through 2 nights.
Right. Okay.
So I was like, that's like kind of a perfect little taste of what I'm going to experience at Moab. So it was just each race I had throughout the year was just harder and harder. And TDS was like really, really hard.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I've heard about the mountains over there. I've never been there, but
you got to come out.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Yeah, because I asked Courtney when we were running this weekend about poles and different things like that over there. Like a lot of people, almost everybody uses poles because it's so steep or whatever. And she's like, that's where I think it's kind of a skill to develop is how to use those poles.
Well, and a lot of those guys are like skiers in the winter, so they're super used to using poles.
Yeah, because But she was saying how steep it's like. I go, do you try to run those hills? She's like, no,
Impossible. Yeah. Some of those climbs are impossible to run. Yeah.
How much climb was on that one?
I think it was like 31,000 in 94 miles. Yeah. So
brutal, dude.
Yeah. The same elevation of Moab, but in 94 miles.
Oh, that is brutal.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so beautiful, so fun.
Yeah.
It was, incredible.
I know when I think it must be Chamonix where, are you looking at the mountain right there and it looks like just a solid wall?
So TDS, it actually starts on the other side of the mountain in, I'm going to botch the name, Cormier.
Yeah.
And it's a big route around the mountain. The UTMB main event is just a loop from Chamonix around the mountain back to Chamonix. So still a super, super incredible, like scenic. I mean, some of the landscapes I was seeing out there were like so incredible. You're running through alpine, like just sheer cliffs at some points and running through cow pastures and these big open grassy meadows. And it was so cool. I'd never even been to that area before. It's like been incredible for me to like travel the world and see all these like amazing places, like because of running. Like it's a gift.
When you were, you mentioned your addiction and getting sober. When you were at those moments, an experience like that, running in Europe, in the most beautiful country in the world, from when you were at your lowest point, probably seemed like
I never could have imagined.
How amazing is life?
It's incredible. Yeah,
it's like when you're at your lowest, it's like you probably thought, I'm never getting out of here.
There's no way out. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about that.
I come, to make a long story short, I come from a long line of alcoholics, drug addicts. It runs in my family. My mom's been sober for 30 plus years before I was even born. So I should probably know this, but maybe like 34, 35 years. My dad is like currently struggling alcoholic and addict. And my sister, my grandparents, like my uncle, everybody. And it really is a family disease. And after high school, I just really had no direction in life. I like to say I was going nowhere fast. And I had gotten hit by a car when I was 14 years old, and they sent me home with a prescription for OxyContin. And that was kind of like my first little taste of addiction. And it wasn't until later in high school where I really like started getting deep into it. And after high school, things got really dark. It got really bad. It felt like every single day was the worst day of my life. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I feel like I really just like got lucky and the stars had aligned for me. And I had an opportunity to like finally just get out of the situation that I was in and go to jail for a couple months. And that was like, I remember thinking like, this might be my only chance to like finally quit. Cause for the longest time I was like, dude, I can't keep doing this. Like, I want to quit. I want to stop. I'm done. This is the last day. I'm really getting sober this time. I'm really going to do it. And it was just like, never could hang on for 4 or 5 hours, an hour, it was just the worst situation mentally to have to fight every single day. And I finally did get sober, and that was on April 6, 2012. And I've been sober ever since. And my life has just continually gotten better. Like, getting sober was like the foundation of, I don't know, my new life. And I wouldn't have anything if I'd be dead if I wasn't sober. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially now with the fentanyl, what it's doing.
I've lost
to people.
So many friends, man. It's such a bummer. It's so sad.
Yeah, that is awful. Cause there's people who everybody struggles with the different things, but they take this pill and they're not trying to kill themselves.
Well, they might think they're taking something totally different,
Right. It's just tragic.
Yeah.
It's what they're doing to that now, and, trying to make money. Everybody's, they're out there hustling, selling their pills or whatever, but it's costing good people their lives. And it's just like, man, so lucky that you got out when you did.
Yeah.
So it was jail that got you sober.
Yeah.
And then
I went right into 12-step programs, got super involved, got really plugged in with a really amazing community, and had like, for the first time ever in my life, like solid, like male role models and people who cared about me and like true, genuine friends. And I just like held on for dear life. And it wasn't until I was sober for maybe 4 or 5 years where I even found, like, I didn't even run when I was younger. I didn't run in high school. I didn't go to college, so I wouldn't run in college. But yeah, it wasn't until I was like 25, 26 years old when I actually like found running and started running seriously. And I feel like that came at like such a perfect time in my life where I was on the right track, but I didn't really have a lot of motivation to push myself or make goals or progress. And it was like when I found running, it was like this new hard thing that I could make goals, like, and set goals and achieve those goals, and they were attainable goals. And I felt like it was the first time where I really started to win in my life. And it was like total game changer for me. And I feel like once, I mean, this is gonna sound crazy, but once I started like succeeding and progressing in running, it like bled into all these other aspects of my life. And I really like everything kind of started to come together, you know?
Mudwater is a healthy habits brand best known for its popular caffeine alternative. It's got 4 functional mushrooms, and the purpose is to never leave you feeling jittery. Don't get me wrong, I love coffee and usually drink 5 to 6 cups a day, but Mudwater has helped me cut back a little bit, especially once afternoon hits. I still even throw a little Mudwater in with my coffee, and they have a really good coffee creamer with MCT oil. Each ingredient was added for a purpose. Cacao and chai for a hint of caffeine and hot chocolate-like flavor. Lion's mane for focus, and both chaga and reishi to support healthy immune system. Plus, it's Whole30 approved, 100% USDA certified organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, and kosher. Mudwater donates monthly to support psychedelic research and has since day one. They believe the country is in a mental health epidemic and that psychedelic-assisted therapy is one of the most effective tools we have to treat mental health conditions. Mudwater is hooking up my show with a special offer. If you go to mudwater.com/Cam Hanes, you get a free frother and $20 off. That's mudwater.com/Cam Hanes for a free frother and $20 off. I've been taking Ketone-IQ for the past year and have seen tremendous benefits, including mental clarity, increased focus, and more energy. Anytime I take the shot, I feel smarter. When I have on some really smart people like Andrew Huberman on the podcast, it can be intimidating because actually I'm not that smart. Nobody's ever called me smart. So that's an uphill battle for me. Ketone-IQ gives me a little more mental clarity, which I always could use. I also bring Ketone-IQ with me on many long runs and races for that matter, because I feel like it does give me a little bit of an edge. I've been lucky enough to spend some time with the people that run Ketone-IQ, like Michael Brandt for one, and he's just the type of guy I want to surround myself with, a winner, cares about performance, cares about doing things the right way, and just trying to find ways to get that edge. You know, he's a runner himself, and so we can connect on that, but it's been a great partnership for me. What I will say, you can get Ketone-IQ, you can try it yourself using code CAM to save 30% off on your first subscription at ketone.com/Cam today. Who got you started in running? Was it just you? You're like, I want to go on a run and just went out the door?
So it's kind of a funny story. I'll try to make it short because I've explained it on a couple different podcasts, but I got back into skating. I quit skateboarding when I was doing my thing and in addiction, like struggling. And the company that I worked at had a skate park in one of the warehouses, and I would skate in there every day, and I kept getting injured. I broke one of my ankles, and then 6 months later, I broke my other ankle. So I was just out for quite a few months. I couldn't do anything. I was just sitting on the couch. I was on a knee scooter, crutches, and I had a roommate at the time who was like super into going. I mean, he was a bodybuilder, so he was super into going to the gym. And I came to him one day. I was like, dude, I just feel like shit, man. Like I need to like do something. And he was like, start coming to the gym with me. Like I'll show you what to do. Like I'll teach you how to lift. And I just got a gym membership and started going to the gym. And like I remember one thing he said to me. He was like, just pay the $30 a month. Like an investment in your body and your health is the greatest investment that you'll make in your life. And I just started going with him. And I do enjoy lifting quite a bit now, but I wasn't trying to be like him, you know, like he's benching
Super jacked.
315. Yeah, super jacked. And I was like going and getting comfortable. And then I eventually just found myself like going to the cardio machine area and doing the stair climber or doing the elliptical machine. Like I couldn't even run on the treadmill at that point. And eventually I did start running on the treadmill and I was like, ooh, I really like this. Like this makes me feel good.
Productive.
Yeah, it's hard. It's challenging. And a couple months of doing that, I'd be going to the gym and just going there to run on the treadmill for 30, 45 minutes. And I'm like, why do I have this gym membership if I'm just going to run on the treadmill? Like I can just run outside. So started running outside and I remember it being like super hard, you know, running on a treadmill is like totally different than running on the road if you've never done it. And
you don't have to propel yourself.
Right.
You just kind of go up.
Yeah. And I remember doing a 3 or 4 mile run. I was like, shit, man, I can barely do this, you know? And I was like, just wanted to push myself. I was every time I ran, I wanted to either run a little bit further or a little bit faster. And that was kind of the beginning of like this obsession that had developed with me and running. And I think part of that's just like having such an addictive mind. And I get obsessed over things really easily. And I really like to take things to the extreme, you know? So running was just like filled this void in my life and became like a new healthy obsession outlet for me to do. And it like seriously changed my life.
Yeah.
I like to say like running changed my life and ultra running ruined my life, you know, because, it's you know, when you're doing, when you're training and doing 100, 200 mile races, it's like all consuming. And I don't really skate or surf anymore as much as I would like to, but I'm just so focused and dedicated to like seeing how far I can go with this whole ultra running thing. Yeah.
You're loving it still.
Yeah. I'm in love with it. Yeah.
So what was your first race?
So I had run a couple road marathons. The first marathon I signed up for was in 2019, just my local marathon back home, OC Marathon.
Yeah.
And I ran that one and ran a couple more marathons after that. And then
were you doing good in them? What was your goals?
Yeah, I mean, like my
Just
first
a finish.
Yeah, my first one, I was like 4 hours. Like people say 4 hours is a good goal, and then I ran a 3:27.
That's good.
And yeah, and it was like every single race that I ran, I kind of had these like conservative expectations, and I will always like blow my expectations out of the water. And I ran like 3 or 4 marathons, and then I had a group of friends who were doing this race in Tahoe called Broken Arrow Sky Race. It was a 50K, and I was like, ooh, that'd be kind of cool to like see if I can do it like an ultra, you know? And signed up for that race, and man, that was a really hard race. It was like 11,000 feet of vert and a 50K. And yeah, I did really well there. And I was like, I really like trail running. And I just was like, this is all I want to do. And I mean, I've ran a couple of road marathons since, but it's just been like 50K, 100K, 100 mile, you know, win a 50 mile, win a 100K, win a 100 mile, win a 200. So it's just
nuts, dude.
Yeah, just the natural progression.
But you have a fast, I mean, like a 2:30 some marathon, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fast.
Yeah, but compared to who, you know, I mean,
not to Olympians, but
yeah.
But to me, it's fast.
Yeah, I'm proud of my marathon PR. I think I still probably got one more
in the 20s.
One more fast marathon, maybe sub 2:30. I don't know.
Sick.
Yeah, I think that would probably be like my ultimate road marathon goal. But yeah, I'm just so obsessed with trail running, like like 100 mile plus distance. Like that's really what I want to keep doing.
So your first 100? How did you do in that one?
I got second place. So that was when I first met Jesse Haynes, and this is actually kind of a cool story. Oh my gosh, I don't want to mess up the year. I think it was 2023. Satisfy, one of my sponsors, they sponsor this aid station at Fain Ranch at mile 100, and I was just volunteering there, like helping out at the aid station. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I'm gonna go to this 250 mile race and see these people. And I was there in the middle of the night when the first probably 5 or 6 people were coming through the aid station, and I remember in my head thinking that these people were going to be like, I had built them up in my head like they were some kind of like superhuman, superhero type people. And when I was working at the aid station, I saw them coming through and they were all kind of in shambles. And I was like, oh, these are just like regular people, you know, like it was the first time where I kind of could relate, and I was like, oh, maybe this like seemingly impossible thing is maybe something that I could do, you know? And I think that was in May, and then the 100 miler was like in June. And right after Cocodona, I just signed up for this 100 miler that was close to me. And it's called SAMO 100 mile, put on by KH Races. And I showed up to that race with like pretty much a month. I mean, I had already been training pretty hard, but with just a month of hard training. And I showed up, and Jesse just smoked me. I mean, I think he beat me by like an hour and a half, but it was still like just a really cool experience. And I finished that race in second, and I was like, holy shit, like my first 100 miler, I just crushed it, you know? Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And that's, you said that was 11,000 or no, how hard was that one? That was a 50K.
I think that one was maybe 20.
A lot of climbing.
I'm gonna mess it up. Yeah. A lot of climbing. It's in the Santa Monica Mountains. So, it was maybe 21 or 27. I can't quite remember. I don't even think.
But legit.
Yeah, it's not. I don't even think it's a race anymore. But it was a really rad, fun race. It's on the Backbone Trail in Santa Monica. So it was a tough first 100 miler, and I think that's like, I don't know, maybe I don't know if I do it intentionally, but picking like pretty hard races for these first, like my first 50K was hard.
Yeah.
My first 100 miler was hard. Moab 240, obviously hard, right? So, it was just cool. And like I said, I just kept showing up way bigger than I even expected, and just having really good finishes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're definitely built for it. And that's what's crazy about it is your life could easily went where you'd never realize this talent you have.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's the fact that you found it, and whatever led up to leading you to ultras was meant to be, but it could easily not happened.
Right.
And then there would be no Max running ultras.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Totally.
and then the sport would have lost out. But I think that people listening, I think it's important to know that you don't know what you're capable of. I mean, look at you. Could it easily never have happened?
Yeah. And also I kind of just stumbled on myself being kind of good at run. You know, I didn't know I was good at running. My dad was a marathon runner, so maybe I kind of knew that I had a knack for this thing or could have been good at it, but it wasn't until I really started like pushing myself and finding some success in running where I was like, oh, I think I am actually good, like pretty good at this thing. And I made a decision, like I'm actually gonna lean into this, you know, like this might be the one thing that I'm like really good at, you know, and just took it from there. And really, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what's possible for me and see what I can do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That little story right there just reminded me. I used to hunt up here on a mountain bike, and we'd bike in, and it's super steep and all this. And I remember my friend was like, we were going up there, and it would just crush people. People would be puking all the time. For whatever reason, I could just bike. And I remember my buddy, he was like off his bike, pushing it, puking, and he was just like, "What?" He goes, "Could you be like in the Olympics?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I mean, you know, I was older at this time, but like sometimes there's these little things that you're like."
Maybe this is my thing.
Yeah,
you know?
maybe endurance.
Right.
And at that time, he said that, and I was just like, God, maybe I'm okay at this stuff.
Right.
But yeah, you never know. There's these little moments in time that, you know, whatever path you're taking, you're there, and then you're just like, oh wow, this is never expected this. But okay. So side story there, but Cocodona, were you pacing or crewing Jesse? That first year, did you say he was Cocodona?
No, Jesse wasn't racing. Yeah, I was just there I wasn't crewing anyway. I was just aid station
helping.
volunteering. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. I was just there. I mean, I knew Michael Versteeg. He actually came through first place at that time that year. And I know him fairly well, so it was cool seeing him. But I was just hanging out. I was just checking out the race.
Oh, okay.
Handed out quesadillas. Just chilling at the aid station, filling up people's water. And it was just kind of by chance that I was like out there and saw this race, and I was like, whoa, this is sick.
Yeah. And so this year you're doing it.
I'm doing it, and you are too.
I know. I know. Yeah, you're gonna.
Hey, this race is gonna be so insane. The lineup is like so sick.
Yeah,
I mean, Courtney, one of many, but yeah, I told you earlier. I think the only person who might be a bigger fan of Courtney than me is you.
Yeah, I love her. She's.
There's an argument to be made that Courtney Dauwalter is the greatest female athlete of any sport of all time.
Right.
Like, she's just so incredible. I'm like such a huge fan. Haven't met her yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing her at Cocodona. Yeah.
You're going to. It's going to be epic. And, Mike McKnight's doing it.
Yeah.
He's been texting me about heat training because he's going to go down there early.
Jesse Haynes is doing it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Whoa. And he's good too, right?
He's a legend. I mean, he won Moab in 2023.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Jeez.
We could go down the list for, there's like probably 20 people that are just monsters in that lineup.
I think that overall record is going down
for sure.
This year.
I think the entire top 10 might break the course record.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it could happen.
I'm calling it. Yeah.
It definitely could happen. I mean, I'm always just thinking of Courtney. It's like, who knows what she's capable of.
Yeah.
So what's your, I don't know how close to the vest you hold stuff, but what's your training looking like going up to that? Are you going to ramp it up? Or?
Yeah, kind of just same thing that I've been doing, just big volume. I live at sea level, so
This is low here too.
Yeah, we're at a little bit of a disadvantage. So
Yeah.
trying to just do more trips, going up to the mountains that are close. They're not big mountains, but at least it's something, doing some vert training. After seeing Roche's YouTube video, like maybe, I might do some more higher intensity stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just going to try to be as fit as possible and just cover all my bases and really take care of my body. Like, I've been seeing this PT back home, and he's been actually a funny story. So Dr. G, the PT that I go to, Cheeto, is always in there all the time.
Oh,
so
really?
I'm brushing shoulders with him. Yeah.
I love
know
Cheeto.
he's been on the show. Yeah. He's a legend.
Yeah.
So yeah, just taking care of my body, doing everything that I can, and applying those things that I learned from Moab that were maybe some issues that affected my race, and just taking those lessons and doing things a little bit different.
So along with the mileage, do you have vert goals a week?
Yeah, I kind of want to hit. I think I hit like 500,000 feet of vert last year, so I thought it would be cool. I think the 1,000,000 foot of vert in a year is like a really sick benchmark. And I got this like stair climber machine in my garage, so I've been hitting stair climber sessions a lot. But yeah, I think doing 1,000,000 feet of vert in the year could be really, really sick. And I got other races other than Cocodona. I'm doing the Mammoth 200, which is another mountain race. So
when's that?
That's in September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one that's the route that Sally put up near Mammoth Lakes,
Nice.
which is going to be the first year of that 200-mile race. It's part of Mammoth Trail Fest. So I got that one. We'll see if it runs. We just had a bunch of fires in LA, so I'm not sure if AC 100 is happening this year. I mean, I'm hoping so, but yeah, that's a pretty mountainous race. So yeah, there will be a lot of vert in my future. This year.
Yeah, definitely. It's I know, like, there's a guy here, Ben Blankenship. You know who that is? Yeah. He on Spencer's over there. I know he was when he was getting ready, because he's just getting into ultras now, but he was always like, or his goal was 10,000 feet a day, which is nuts.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of vert.
Every day for how long?
I can't remember how many days he was doing that. I mean, I know, actually, I can't speak to it. But 10,000 feet a day for even just a few days is hard.
It's a lot. Yeah. No,
he's doing it longer than that. But yeah, so I'm always like interested in hearing. There's this girl who just did the spike camp thing, and this is going to sound nuts. I think part of it was skiing too, so just take that with just consider that. But she did over 2 million feet of gain in a year.
Damn. I mean, there's people out there that's all
crazy?
they do. Yeah, it's insane.
But she was crushing Pisgah. There's no surprise.
Right.
Up and down, up and down, up and down. But I don't know, because Taylor, his goal was always, my brother, was always 500,000 feet. And I always thought that is insane. 500,000 feet?
Yeah.
I thought that was nuts. 1 million feet is nuts. But anytime you have these like benchmarks, you know, there's somebody who's
right. And I'm sure there's a record for most vertical feet of gain
probably
in a
Killian does like 3 million.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like, and the record's probably getting broken every single year. So who knows what even the limit of that. And that's a whole nother, like, it's not technically ultra racing, but it's still like ultra adjacent, you know, like putting up crazy mileage throughout a year or crazy vert throughout a year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a whole nother cool aspect of the ultra running world. Is just seeing what people can do in a month or a year, you know?
Yeah, because and that's what's exciting about it. Because when I think about like miles, I know Goggins did 7,000 miles in a year, or over 7,000, which is like 20 miles a day for the whole year.
Yeah.
But if you look at all those different things, so it's like that's the magic though, is finding the combination that works for you for whatever endeavor you're doing, and kind of, I guess, highlights your strengths, right? So for some people, maybe it's a vert, maybe it's a mileage, maybe it's whatever. But if you look at, or maybe like Roach, it's a speed. But you look at all those and you take all these little things from all these athletes, the Killian, the Goggins, the Roach, the Courtney, and then it's like, okay, so what works for you?
Right.
What gets you to your highest level? That's what nobody can say.
Yeah.
You can say like, well, this works for this guy, and here's what he did, and that might not do anything for you.
Got to find out for yourself.
Yeah.
And you just got to do it.
Right. And that's what, I mean, we have all these people doing these incredible things. It doesn't mean anything for me. I love talking, like hearing what you're doing because I can consider it.
Right.
But I think that for these long ones, how do you measure mental toughness? I have no idea.
There's no way to quantify it. Yeah.
And then his volume.
Right.
And that's all I think about.
Yeah.
I guess in heat, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Which I'm going into Cocodona. I'm like really, I feel like being able to handle the heat is like kind of my greatest strength. Moab was really, really hot this year. I know there were people like Andy Glaze got heat stroke really, really bad on either the
DNF,
first or second day. Yeah. So it was a tough year. And I live in Southern California, so we live in a desert, so it's pretty hot. And it's all summer long. I'm training in the heat. So, and I always kind of do really well at hot races. So I think that might be kind of my secret weapon. Yeah. I don't have super salty sweat, and I don't sweat a whole lot. So I think I retain water pretty well, which might be really beneficial for
and salt probably.
for hot races. So yeah, I really love hot, flat, fast ultras. Like that's I like anything that's really, really hard, but I think my greatest strength is probably in like hot desert conditions.
That's where maybe then this race is like tailor-made for you, because there's a lot of running. I mean, there's road.
So was Moab. Yeah, it's very runnable.
Yeah. So if you can make up time on the flat, man, and you're good in the heat.
Right.
Because I think in the first part of Cocodona is, that first 50K, they say that's what, that require you to take 4 liters water type thing is the hardest part at the beginning anyway. If you can survive that and then get to that wherever you can run. Yeah. I mean,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm super excited. I'm pumped to see what you do.
God, I'm old. So with your nutrition, like you were laying all that out, it seems like the focus nowadays or lately has been on the high carb, high calorie. What do you look at for that for you?
Yeah, I'm kind of just trying to do what other people do. And I was trying to get as much fuel as I could. So I had planned for 80 grams of carbohydrates per hour, which is kind of a lot, especially for a multi-day race like that. And I think I consumed almost all of my nutrition that I had planned for, plus extra just solid food. But I was eating a lot of gels, a lot of high carb mix in my fluids, tons of electrolytes. Like I was really meticulous about planning my nutrition. Yeah.
How much salt were you taking? Do you remember?
In
your drink?
I did a sweat test, and I'm like 900 milligrams sodium loss per liter. So I was trying to hit just right at that number. Yeah, and it worked out well. Yeah.
What I remember from and you talked about lessons you learned, but from Moab is like taking those bandages off your blisters.
Yeah.
That seemed like a rough
Brutal.
one.
Big mistake. Yeah.
So you leave your feet bandaged up.
I'm going to do something totally different for my feet for the next one. Yeah. I pre-taped, which I don't think I should have done, and probably should have stuck with toe socks the entire time. And I'm actually curious what you think about this. So friction of your socks on your skin is what causes blisters, right? Would it be better to always lubricate the sock between the sock and the skin, or do you want the sock to stick to the skin so it doesn't move?
What I've been doing is I coat my toes in Vaseline and then put the sock on.
But that only lasts for so long, right?
Yeah, but like the last races I've done, hundreds, even like this 100 that me and Courtney just did, I've had one blister.
I've done that, and I've still gotten blisters, and maybe that's because it was a hot race, so I was drenching myself in water the entire race. So I was pooling in my shoes and my socks, so maybe it just got rinsed away. But I'm like still learning. I'm always just trying to learn like what works best, and I got I got a race next weekend. I'm running Black Canyon 60K, so I'll be testing it. I mean, it's pretty short. You can't simulate what you're going to experience in 100 or 200 miles unless you do it. So it's like, I kind of just got to pick something and test it out, and hopefully it works. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think feet are again, we talk about so unique because I've tried the toe socks before. It made my shoes too tight. Maybe it was, that extra fabric in there, but maybe I needed to go up a size or whatever. But, Courtney, she uses, and I don't see her feet ever being torn up.
Yeah.
I think part of it, and I have like my pinky toes kind of.
Oh my God, mine
calluses.
Too. Mine are so bad. Yeah, my pinky toes were. I thought I was gonna lose my right pinky toe during. I was like, legit, this hurts so bad. I think my toe might actually fall off.
Let's just cut it off now.
Yeah, which probably would have been better. But my feet are kind of the thing that I struggle most with in races. And I've had some success. Every once in a while I'll run 100K and I'll be like, oh, my blisters aren't even really that bad. I didn't lose too many toenails. And then I'll run a road marathon and lose 5 of my toenails. I'm like, what? What's the deal here?
Do you have a shoe sponsor?
So I'm sponsored by Satisfy Running. They make apparel, and they're releasing their first shoe, I think, in July. So I do have a shoe sponsor. The shoe is just not out yet.
Yeah,
I've been wear testing some prototypes, and it's a sick
they're
shoe.
good.
Yeah,
okay, because shoes are, dude, it's not easy to make a good shoe.
No,
I remember Under Armour came out with the first shoe, and I wanted to wear them so bad. They were like wearing a 2x4 in your foot. They were awful, the worst shoe ever, like plastic.
And then you're forced to wear them.
Yeah, then I'm like sponsored by them, but they can't. They make great shoes, but I'm just saying that making shoes. Shit is tough for performance.
Right.
You can get shoes that look cool, but performance is
I think breaking into the shoe space is really hard, but I've been trying out a bunch of different shoes, just road shoes, trail shoes, over the last year, and it's kind of hard to find a bad shoe nowadays, at least if it's coming from a Nike, Hoka, Adidas, whoever, New Balance. Like everyone kind of seems to make.
Don't forget Speedland.
And Speedland,
need some more coffee?
Sure, yeah. I feel like nowadays it's almost hard to find a bad shoe. A lot of brands make a lot of really good shoes out there.
Where I struggle is not struggle, but I'm always obsessed with weight. So I'm always looking to like cut things off. Speedlands, they've got it trimmed down good, but I'm always like, God, if I could run in a road shoe, that's this many ounces lighter.
Right. Take a road shoe and like maybe resole it with a Vibram outsole. Yeah.
Because I
thought about that.
I tested out this road shoe wherever it is, and it just doesn't have any grip on the bottom. Yeah,
I noticed a lot of Adidas shoes, the road shoes, they're just like that flat. I think it's Continental rubber, maybe. Yeah, I think it's called Continental. I'm probably misspeaking, but it's just there's no treads or traction. It's just flat grip.
So if you could have that shoe with a little bit of traction, but Speedland, I think they one thing you talked about your feet and sweating and pouring water. So do you put holes through the bottom of your shoe?
No, I heard one time that you do that.
Yeah,
but
well,
I don't really sweat too much, so it's.
I don't know. I saw a treadmill video of you.
Yeah,
Remember that
well,
with the socks?
So the stair climber. Yeah, I sweat more on that thing than any. But there's
like
no
a stationary bike too. Where if you do that, you're like.
Also, that was in the middle of the summer. My garage was probably 90 degrees. There's no fan. There's no ventilation. So it's just like giant sweat box. But yeah, I sweat a ton on that thing. But usually when I'm running outside or in races, like I don't really, unless I'm dumping a ton of water on myself, I don't really ever get fluid pooling up in my shoes. I'm not a super heavy sweater.
Yeah. That's that's why you're probably good at the heat. But yeah, you see like a lot of those races or some of the races, they'll put you through a river right at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
And you know, it's softening up that skin
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh God, this is brutal.
Quite literally that happened this year at Sean O'Brien, this 100K that I ran at mile 2. You have to do this river crossing. And then it was a hot race. My feet were wet for 10 hours. And I had these blisters that started on my toe, went underneath my toenail, wrapped around. Like it was so brutal.
That sounds tough.
Yeah, it was nasty.
So what I do to try it, and I'm not good, but if I run from here to the Pisgah, then I'll just go. If it's in the summers, go in the river.
Yeah,
just get my feet all wet and then run.
So train with wet feet, toughen up your feet.
I don't know.
Yeah,
and I don't wear socks.
It makes sense to me. Yeah, that's crazy. You don't wear socks. I forgot that.
Just for training.
Okay.
Not for racing. Yeah, no, but it's just in my head, I'm like making my feet tougher.
That makes sense to me.
I don't know if it works.
Yeah.
But it's like we have all these little weird whatever.
I live really close to the beach, so every once in a while I'll just do barefoot runs on the sand, and I feel like that's like important to. I mean, toughen up the skin on your toes and your feet, but also just the uneven terrain. I feel like it makes your feet stronger. And I've never really dealt with like any foot injuries or planted. Yeah. And I think maybe that has something to do with it. But I like to cycle a bunch of different shoes. I don't really, I kind of have that same, even though I don't run without socks, but I like to toughen up my feet in different ways by just like mixing it up a lot with shoes or terrain or whatever.
I mean, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're kicking ass.
Thank you.
It's so tell me about like I think there's some stars in the sport that we know of. The guys who I pay attention to, we mentioned Roach a few times now, but Hayden Hawks, I like him. Yeah. Of course, Walmsley is legend. Mike McKnight, he's won all the 200s in 1 year. Killing. Like who's been like your inspiration in running?
Oh man, dude, it's like, to be honest with you, it's people like you. Like you, Goggins, like Jim, all those guys that you just named. Michael Verstappen. It's just like people that I've met along the way, people that inspired. Jesse Haynes, like, man, that dude, I look up to that dude so much, and he's like taught me so. Dylan Bowman, like these guys, like, I don't know. It's just people that I've met along the way kind of inspire me the most. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's well, now you have like everything. You got the look, you got the story, you got the performance. How exciting is that? And it's like, do you see yourself as, where do you see yourself going?
I don't know. To be honest with you, it feels weird. Like going back to the imposter syndrome, I'm just waiting for all these people to find out I'm like not a good athlete, But yeah, it's been a kind of a tricky thing to navigate. I mean, I'm sure you deal with it, seeing people all the time that know you and you don't really know who they are. And I never planned on like blowing up in the running space. I just wanted to do some hard races and
cool stuff.
Push myself. Yeah. And everything else is just social media is, the success there has just kind of been a bonus. And I just want to keep doing hard things, telling my story, documenting races, and hopefully if I inspire people along the way, that's really cool.
Well, yeah, I think you are. You inspire me. Your film with Tyler, and I always say Tyler with a O-R, which I said, did you know you spell your name wrong? Tyler, come on. But that film, so what's a film like? Do you have more films in the works or plans? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's fun, you know, making these films, documenting these races, and I plan on just bringing filmers along with me. I don't know if it will be a big production like King of Moab. That's, you know, it took a lot of planning and just a lot of time to make that. I mean, it's still not done yet. We're still working on it, trying to get it out as soon as possible. But yeah, just leaning more into like putting out YouTube videos, just making more content, and
people can't get enough.
And I wish that more people would just put forth a little bit of effort to put content out there. Like, there's so many pro athletes that I wish I could see what their training looks like, what their story is. And it's like, just buy a camera, have your girlfriend or your wife start filming, hire an editor to just put a YouTube video together and put it out there. Like, I selfishly want to see that. So, I'm just going to, and people keep asking me to do that more. And, this next year I'm going to try to put out a lot more content on my YouTube and just, try to do better with that.
Yeah. That is a good goal. I mean, you know, Courtney talked about, we filmed like for 3 days and I said, you ready to do a podcast? And she's like, don't you think aren't people going to get sick of me or whatever?
Especially.
And I'm like, people can't get enough of you. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean,
she doesn't put anything out.
No,
really.
She's so mysterious, and maybe that adds to her lore. You know?
Yeah, I think so. But all I know is, nowadays people can't get enough.
Yeah.
If they care about somebody or they're interested in somebody's story, you can't give them enough.
Right.
They want to peek in the window, and then if you let them, they'll want to come in the house and hang out.
And it's tough, and it's a sacrifice, and trying to make a documentary while you're trying to train for the biggest race of your life and running the biggest race of your life. It's just like a whole nother, and trying to juggle a full-time job and like put out content. Like, it is a lot, but I think in the end, if you can do it, it's worth it, and people will really respond well if you just put stuff out there. I mean, it could be anything, just Instagram videos, TikToks, YouTubes, just get content out. Like, we want the content. So, yeah.
Well, and then, so how does that, your sponsorship relationships, how are you navigating that? Because with content, that's eyeballs. With eyeballs, that's money for your sponsor. That's what everybody wants.
Right.
So how are you dealing with, so now you're like this rising star coming up, kicking ass. How are you dealing with sponsors and things like that?
I've gotten lucky to find some brands that have been really, really great to work with. And, but yeah, it's been tricky. You know, I'm like, I don't have an agent. I don't know what my value is. It's hard to even quantify like what I'm worth. The sponsors, they really do help, enable you to travel and do these races. And it's like, it's tough, 'cause like you need the resources to go do all these amazing things.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive.
The races are expensive.
I mean, Moab, I think the registration for Moab this year broke $2,000 just to run it. And like bringing a crew out and getting hotels and getting everyone fed and gas, and it all does add up. So, but at the same time, like, you really don't need any sponsors to go run a race and make a film. Like, you just need to bring someone with a camera and just be willing to document it, you know? So it's been tricky. It's been challenging. Yeah. And I'm learning some hard lessons along the way. Yeah.
But you don't need it, but if you're sacrificing, if you're going through the pain and you deserve to be compensated. That's how I look at it.
Right.
It's just like you're getting eyeballs on these brands. And the brands are doing good. They're allowing you to do these or share these experiences, but
and the obligations to each brand is different, right?
Yeah.
So Satisfy, I mean, they've been super amazing. That we do cool, fun stuff, but they don't really ask too much of the athletes. They kind of just believe in us and want us to wear the product and race, and we do what we do, and that's been really, really awesome and an incredible sponsorship. And I just recently signed with Camelback, and they've been really cool too. They actually their headquarters is like right 2 cities over from my hometown. So
nice.
And I got friends who like work there. Yeah, it's old coworkers who work there. So it's been cool. They've been awesome. So I'll be with them for quite a while. But yeah, it's some brands ask very little of you, and other brands like really will use you to their full potential. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Milk you for all your worth.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Just squeeze everything they can out of you. Yeah. Did you quit your job?
No.
Oh, you still got a job.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I wish I could, but I feel like I'm like you. I'm working this job, and I do enjoy my job. I love the people that I work with. I make okay money. It's really close to home. I'm still able to get all my training in, so there's no reason really for me to other than my time that I'm spending there. But it's a good gig. Maybe at some point I'll be a full-time runner, but as of right now, I'm still going to work, doing the 9 to 5.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's you got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
It is tough. I just know. Truett's a little bit younger than you, but he transitioned to full time, whatever he does.
He's killing it, man. He is killing it.
Whatever he does. But yeah, he's doing a good job. But yeah, it is. It's a hard decision to make right there because he went to college here, got his degree, that's doing a good job, working for Mountain Ops, and doing what he's good at. And then maybe if I went on my own. Maybe it could be, I have more time.
And the other thing too that gets complicated is when you have sponsors, you can't, if you're trying to do social media full time and you have sponsors, it kind of limits you to jobs that you might be able to, and brands that you can promote, So sometimes if you're trying to go that route, having a bunch of sponsors is actually a disadvantage,
Yeah. It's crazy that there is opportunities though to make good money
for sure
just on social media.
Right. It's incredible.
Yeah. And so if you could make good money training more, getting more rest because you're not, you're
kind of talking me into it right now.
I know I just know I've just seen what Truett has done.
Yeah.
Because if you look at what he's going to get probably I would say at least 10,000 pull-ups in 24 hours tomorrow.
So badass. So badass.
But he goes, I just train all day and then sleep 9 hours a day. He goes, what else would I be doing?
Living the life.
This is my job.
Yeah.
So when you have that talent,
right,
you're obsessed, because without obsession, you're not going to do the work.
Right.
People always talk about, if all I had to do was train all day, I could do that too. It's like, probably not.
The must be nicers.
Yeah. You'd probably just watch TV more if you didn't have a job. So it takes this certain magic where it all comes together. And if it's somebody like you or like Truett, who knows what the hell what the potential is, to set a world record. That's something nobody's ever done.
Yeah.
I think you could, if you had all that time and just knowing your mentality.
I have some things in the back of my head that I would love to attempt, but are just impossible to do while working a job, like things that might take 40, 50 months to complete. And it's like, how do you hold on to your job when you're gone for 2 months,
Right.
It's just not possible. So there are things that I want to do that if I do attempt them, I'm just going to need to not have a job. And I've toyed with the idea of just walking in, putting in my 2 weeks and then hitting the road and doing something crazy. But it's just, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, I understand.
That jumping off point, the cliff is just so steep,
I understand.
It's scary. Yeah.
I understand. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Peanut Gallery. I tasked these guys, I can't remember, I think I said it before the podcast, but I said, watch King of Moab.
Okay.
And then I want some questions from these dipshits over here.
Okay. You watched the Courtney episode, so we got a similar opening question for you.
Okay.
But we can cuss this time.
Yeah.
Marry, kill.
Okay.
Running, skateboarding, surfing.
Oh my God, dude.
Not bad.
Okay.
Not bad, guys.
Okay. Damn. I'd say I'm going to have to kill skateboarding. Oh man, that hurts. Surfing, marry running.
So you still like surfing for the weekends.
Yeah, I feel like skating once you hit 30 years old, it's over, man. You're gonna get hurt. Yeah, it's like that time in your life is done. But surfing's one of those things where you can surf for, I mean, dudes into their 70s and 80s if you take care of your body. Like surfing is one of those things, and it's like it's a lot like running. It's a spiritual practice for a lot of people, and people get a lot from. And I mean, I'm sure you could say that for skateboarding, but I love surfing, man. It was like my first thing that I was obsessed with, and now running is just like kind of got to stick it out with that one. So probably throw the ring on.
So running.
Throw the ring on running.
This is a weekend fling with surfing.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Okay. One of the things that really bummed us out the most in the film is you cut the hair. So are you bringing it back?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's growing. Yeah.
That bummed you guys out?
Yeah. We're like, damn, he cut it.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing with my hair. It's just doing its thing. Yeah. If you want me to grow it out, I will.
I'd appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. So towards the end of the race, you had mentioned in the film when you came across Harry, you checked in on him. Are you guys okay? Do you need anything? So how do you kind of balance that empathy for your competitors with your drive to win?
Good question. Yeah, I just have the utmost respect for anyone who's lining up at a 200-mile race, and Harry is he's one of the greatest 200-mile runners out there, and it was just an honor, like sharing a bunch of miles with him and going back and forth. Like he dropped me in the beginning, and then I caught him, and then I led for about 100 miles, and then he got me again, and then he just put the hammer on me, and I was down bad, and then I came back, and when I got to him, I had kind of knew that it would, he was moving really slow, and I was closing this gap that he had on me, and it was a couple miles out from when I actually met him where it kind of set in that like, holy shit, I'm gonna win this race, and I just wanted to be as respectful as possible to him. I mean, he's such a legend. I look up to that guy a bunch. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure and stop and know that they were okay before I just like hammered on and just, it was more of a respect thing than anything. Yeah.
Yeah. How old is he?
I think he's the same age as me. He's like 30, 32, 33. Young. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought Harry, that sounds like an old name.
Yeah.
So I thought he was like 60.
Heroldus. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's Lithuanian.
From another country?
Yeah, he's
gotcha.
Lithuanian. Yeah. Which is kind of funny because I'm Lithuanian as well.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit. I think my ancestry test said like 10% or something.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, he has had a lot of success, and I did like how you called that out, and yeah, I don't know. It's you got to respect. Again, I relate it to hunting. When I'm way back deep in the mountains, I don't want to see anybody. Mm-hmm. But if I see somebody, I'm like,
you worked hard to get here.
Fucking worked their off.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you hate on that?
Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to ask you about hunting. As a hunter, you see someone with me with a real tree cap on. Is this stolen valor?
No.
Okay.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it. No. But hunters are, we want people to be flying the flag, basically.
Okay, cool.
Repping the Camel brand.
Yeah, that's something that I would love to get into. Like, I think it's so cool. Like, the most respect to you guys for going out there and getting your own food and feeding your family, and just the respect that you have with nature and the difficulty of getting an animal. It's like, it's really cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
thanks. And I wish I had more time and energy. And I got a couple friends back home who are getting into it, bow hunting too. So yeah, it's
we'll have to do a lift run shoot, proper lift run shoot.
I would love to.
This one was kind of, I had Speedland yesterday, then you today, then flying to Truett tomorrow. Yeah. So I was a little bit tight, but I want to do a lift run shoot with you.
Sweet.
I was already thinking about having you done at the bow rack.
Let's do it after Cocodona.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Sick.
We'll do lift, run, shoot, or recap on Cocodona, and get you shooting a bow. That
would be amazing. And I actually, so when I was a kid, my mom was just like obsessed with. She just really loved Boy Scouts, and I think part of it was maybe her childhood, she didn't really get to experience the outdoors as much as maybe she would have liked. So when I was a kid, she was just like she was the Cub Scout leader. She was like the scout leader, and part of my background growing up, like being on trails a lot and traveling, going to all these national parks and road tripping every single weekend. And I feel like a lot of that kind of planted the seeds for like my love for the outdoors and for nature and being on trails, and which really is ultra running and adventure. So I don't know where I was going with that.
Your mom was a Cub Scout master.
Yeah. Sort of. So the love for the outdoors.
Yeah, for hunting. How it ties back to nature and hunting.
Right. So I just, it's been, a part of me for a long time, and hunting is, it's very intriguing to me, and even like I live by the ocean, so it's super accessible. But even like spearfishing, like I think that spearfishing is like bow hunting in the water, right? So
that's what, I've never done it. That's what they say.
Yeah. I got a bunch of friends who do that too. So I'm very intrigued. It's just my time is limited with training and working and making films and
quit
doing
that
all
job.
That
Cheeto's got a bow. Cheeto came up and did the lift run shoot.
Yeah. So. He's the man. We always see him running around town. We're always like, Cheeto. Honking at him.
Yeah, he's also got that
he wants to start running ultras.
Does he?
I've heard him say on
he did a marathon.
Yeah, he did New York City Marathon. Yeah, and I've heard him say he wants to get into ultras when he's done with fighting. So Cheeto,
I know.
Let's get some miles on the trail, bro.
What camera are we on?
Camera 17.
Yeah.
17.
Let's hit the trails, Cheeto. Come on.
We did, me, him, and Ben ran. How far did we run that day?
13.
13? Yeah. So he ran with an Olympian.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good runner.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. We had a great day. He is hilarious.
Yeah, he's the man.
He is hilarious.
He's a legend.
He just comes up with the funniest stuff. And he's got like, doesn't he have gold on his teeth?
He's so sick. Yeah.
I want gold on my teeth.
Yeah, you should.
Or like at least did your girlfriend have a diamond or something?
Yeah, she was somewhere and got some stupid tooth jewelry thing.
I'm doing it.
She can't take it off now though.
Yeah.
She went to the dentist and she was like, "Hey, can you take this thing off?" And they couldn't get it off, so it's just stuck on there for however long.
I'm doing it. I'm like on my front tooth though.
With the grill?
Well, not a full grill. I mean, come on, don't be stupid, James.
Okay, so Cam and Courtney had kind of talked about, if you're leading and someone's chasing you down, you're running until you disappear. And then, maybe you can walk then, but you're never
you get around the corner so they can't see you walking.
Yeah.
Mind
or the move is if you're ahead and it's nighttime and you got your headlamp on, you cover the headlamp when you look back.
Right.
Trying to see where they're at. So
if
they
somebody
don't
looks back, they're fucked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you definitely don't want to be the person looking back.
Yeah,
you're like, it's a side ache.
Yeah. But I just kind of wanted to know more of your mindset and how it changes from when you're in the chase and when you're in the lead.
Oh yeah. So in the race, I actually Harry dropped me, so I was chasing him in the beginning, and it was like the first 20 miles of the race. I didn't really care about being in second place. It was and I wasn't like trying to catch him like super fast. I was just cruising. But once I took the lead and I led for 100 miles. It sucks in these races because if you're in second place, you come into an aid station and you can just ask, "Hey, how long ago did so-and-so come through?" And they're like, 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. But if you're in front, you're like, "Hey," you can't be like, "How far behind is this person?" So you have no information on who's behind you. But if you're behind, you have all the information on the person in front of you. So it is a lot more stressful and nerve-wracking being in the front and being chased. So, I at mile 140, I opted to let Harry go in front of me, and I was going to chase him, but he took off. So I wasn't stressed on him chasing me down, but at least I knew like, hey, he left 15 minutes ago. He left 20 minutes ago. Hey, he left 5 hours ago. Yeah. Which they didn't even, my crew didn't even tell me how far ahead he was at that point. I was actually more concerned about the third place.
I heard in the film. I was like, checking on that.
Yeah. I was like, how far is third place?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of the
you
mental
kind of
space
get
that I was in.
Yeah. And then you can get to like, top 10's not bad.
Yeah,
top 10's good.
Yeah.
When the wheels start coming off,
which is crazy. If I think I could have stopped for an entire day
and still got
top 10. Just took a day off. Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, those races are so spread out.
They are.
Yeah.
That's what, well, Courtney won by like 10 hours.
Right.
Or something in Moab.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's so sick.
Yeah.
She's so
I've
incredible.
told that story many times where at that time, nobody really knew her, or I didn't. And I always kept checking in, like, who's winning, you know, kind of how you said, you know.
Oh, that's how you guys met.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And so I was like thinking I was going to go out conservative, be smart, and which I never am. And it's like, so I kept checking, like, where's the leader?
Yeah.
And they were saying it, and I'm just like,
she's a day ahead of you.
No way.
Yeah.
What? She went some wrong way. There's no way somebody's that far ahead.
Yeah. No, she was.
She was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like, I understand that mind game. And then also you're saying how far ahead are they? And then how they look.
Right.
You know, so it is
that's
like this,
a lot of information too.
It is. How do they look? What are they acting like? And if they're just like, if you hear that, oh, they came in, you know, whatever, 15 minutes ahead and they were here for 30 seconds, you're just like,
yeah.
God, you want somebody who just like was camped out for a while and could barely get up.
Right.
If you hear a short one, God.
Someone who's running away with a race and is just in first the entire way and just smokes everyone. That's like,
that's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely wasn't in the lead the whole time. Yeah. I was struggling, but yeah, if someone runs away with a race like that, it's like even more respect to them. Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah. That was a good question. I like that. The race tactics.
Yeah. One of the things that kind of impressed me the most in the film was Mackenzie, and how, you know, when you were hurting, she kind of seemed like, you know, it was like, well, whatever he wants, but also at the same time, she was like, no, you got to go alone if you want to win this.
Yeah.
How valuable is it to have someone in your corner like that who's always pushing you?
Yeah, it's super important. Like sometimes, and especially when you're 50, 60 hours into a race, it's like hard to make decisions for like sound decisions. And just having someone there who can almost kind of think for you, you know, you can, you know, you can dish some of the responsibility onto someone else to know what's best for you in a certain situation. And yeah, she was just amazed, like just took care of me. Like every point of the way was just so on it with all the things that go into running a race. And yeah, I just really could not have done it without her. It's she's been my crew chief, the best crew chief just since I've been running. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that she seemed very valuable, and that as far as even just the planning, the food, but then also knowing you and staying on task.
She's a personal trainer too, so she's like my trainer, she's like my coach, she's my nutritionist, she cooks, but she's kind of everything. So yeah, I'd be nothing without her for sure.
She did, like, there was one time where they were talking about like you're still like 4 miles out or whatever, you know, like kind of being real about it. Like, God, this is taking forever.
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, and I'm so grateful that my friends are, you know, willing to come, and my friends and family are willing to come and support me and spend, you know, multiple days out in the desert chasing me. But yeah, it is really stressful for the crews, you know. It's like they're just as...
It's a big commitment.
Yeah, they're just as wrapped up and emotionally invested in the race as me, you know, maybe even more so than me, because I'm just moving. Yeah. That's the only thing that I'm focused on, and they're worried about everything else, you know? Well,
and also it's like, you're the one getting all the attention, you know, it's like, you know, and they're so critical. The crew is so critical. I do kind of appreciate, you know, Courtney did that film about, it's a team sport or something like that, because there's a big commitment. They're going through a lot also, but you're the one who's, you know, the winner, you know? So it's very selfless of them and cool to have people like that believe in you like that. And not everybody does. Yeah. It's, I was going to ask also, you know, I saw Sally's post and she said something about like your guys' podcast was super powerful or whatever, but tell me what you've gained from Sally, what your friendship with her has been like. What has she taught you?
Yeah, I mean, she's been in the running space for a really long time, so she just has like a lot of knowledge with just being able to navigate, you know, contracts and sponsorships and all of like kind of the business side of it. But I'm also just so inspired by her and like what she's doing and running 200 plus mile races and documenting them. Like I'm just kind of following the Sally formula where I'm signing up for really challenging, difficult races and trying to document it and tell a story and hopefully relate to people. Yeah. So,
yeah,
I mean, she's just been a big inspiration and just the sweetest, kindest, most genuine person, amazing speaker. Yeah. I mean, she's just an incredible human being. I'm like really, really a big fan of Sally.
Yeah, me too. Sally McRae, everybody go follow her.
Yeah,
Yellow Runner.
Yellow Runner.
Yeah. Choose Strong was her book, an amazing book. Her story is unlike any other, but it'll give anybody who struggled in life will be inspired by her story for sure. Yeah, she's the best.
Okay, we got two more.
Okay.
So you've talked a lot about how kind of important it was to have your boys there running with you, the energy in your family, everyone. So at the end of that race, when you made the decision to go alone, what was that mind shift or the thought process shift going forward?
That wasn't my decision. Yeah. So Mackenzie had been speaking to Jeff Browning and Jesse Haynes. They're two their friends, but they were Jeff was at the race, so he was kind of helping us out, giving us some beta and telling Mackenzie what to do with me, and Jesse was calling the whole time telling her what to do with me. So that decision to go alone wasn't my decision. She told me like, hey, if you want to win this, you have to go alone. And at that point I was just like, all right. Like I had just gotten the message from you. Yeah. I was fired up. I was like, let's fucking go. And I just took off. And I didn't really understand why in the moment that was the move, but looking back, it's like if you have a pacer with you, it's almost like you can dish some of the responsibility off on the pacer, and it like maybe I wouldn't have dug as deep if I just like had someone like I'm relying on them to set the pace and them to dig deep for me. So it was, I don't know, it was just a way for me to kind of in the most critical part of the race just go inward and just find the power within myself to just go all out and leave everything out there and just push as hard as I could until the finish. Yeah.
Yeah. That can also backfire because as we talked about Sally, she went by herself, I believe is at Tahoe, and she left, decided to not have Billy go with her. And she said that was a huge mistake. Yeah. So as we talk about this is so individual, right? These experiences and these races and this performance. It's like it worked great for you, didn't work for her in that situation. Maybe in some other situation it would have been opposite. Maybe a pacer would have helped you and hurt her. But
or maybe I was always going to push that. Maybe the pacer would have just been there with me. Like who knows?
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. But it all we know is what we saw and how it turned out. But yeah, it's tough making those decisions. Yeah. You know, I know Taylor's paced me on a 200, and I couldn't imagine doing it without him.
Oh yeah.
You know, I remember this one, we were 130 miles in, it's raining, middle of the dark, middle of the wilderness, wherever we were is for the Bigfoot 200. And I'm just like, I just remember that moment, just looking at him going, how lucky are we? Yeah. 130 miles in the middle of the night. And this is what we live for. So without having somebody there to like say that to, it just wouldn't feel the same.
It doesn't. So it's special. You don't get that validation of like the situation that you're in. Yeah. No, I get that.
So sometimes a pacer is just because you love them. Right. And you just like sharing stuff with them.
And you're enjoying the time that you're out there. And like that was kind of a turning point for the race. In the film, I talk about it where I got to the halfway point, mile 112 or whatever it was at Shea Mountain, and I didn't have pacers for that first 100 plus miles. And then once I started picking up my friends, it was like, oh, this is fun now. You know, I'm with the boys. Like we're cruising, we're in the mountains. Like how great is this? Like it was like as tough of a situation that I was in. It was like as soon as I got someone to just distract me from the suffering, it was like everything kind of turned around, you know, until we got to the next day, you know, until the problems arose again. But yeah, no, having people there with you is so crucial and important. And I don't understand how people can run 200-mile races solo. That's so insane. Yeah, that's just nuts. Drop bags, just raw dogging it.
That's nuts.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, I know. In that race, I don't know if they changed the course, but I remember, I think is it once? I don't know, but it's like down in the bottom of something, cold as hell. But I slept there for a little while.
Monticello Lake. Does that sound familiar?
And then you come up, and then it's like a slight downhill for miles, and you can run. Maybe it was like 170, 180. I don't know. It seemed like it was later in the race.
I know the course changed. So right around that 170 mile at Road 46, I think the course was different this year. So I think you ran in 2022.
No. It's like I ran in 2017.
Yeah, the course has changed
gotcha.
a bunch of times,
Okay.
but I think the newest course is quite a bit longer than the previous years, and it gets up to higher elevation points.
Yeah. I remember like it was cold, slept for a little while, came up, but there was like this slight downhill that was perfect to run. And I ran really good during that time. And Taylor, I ended up, Was it
leaving the La Salle Mountains?
No, but that is another good drop off.
That was a nice downhill. That's where I really turned it on.
That's the peak of the race, right?
Yeah.
That's like 10,000 feet almost. Yeah.
Well, I think Shea Mountain is technically the high point, but the La Salle, the Geyser Pass aid station is like right at 10,000 again. So it's like you get up to 10,000 feet 2 different times. Yeah.
That was like, but that's coming home, or is that coming home?
Yeah, it's coming home.
Yeah. That's a nice feeling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hitting that bike path, there's no better feeling than knowing
I saw that.
And God, that area of Moab is just God's country, man. It's so beautiful.
It is.
It's so incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were people like base jumping off the side of the cliffs as I'm running down. There's people driving on the road honking at me. It was just like a surreal experience. It was so cool.
Did they have where you were on a pavement? Then you had, this is towards right before the bike path, and then you had to climb way up in like 4-wheel drive roads?
Yeah.
Did they have that still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of tough up there.
Yeah, it was really early in the morning when I was coming through there, and then it started to get light right as I was hitting the bike path. Mm-hmm. But just sunrise right there. Mm-hmm. It was so cool.
Beautiful. You guys have one more?
Yeah, one more. So we've talked about Cam's call to you, or the video text, I mean. Yeah. And he asked you, what's your legacy going to be? Obviously talking about the race. When this is all said and done, though, the whole career, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, man. Tough question. Yeah. I just want to push myself, and I know it's never going to be possible to reach my full potential, but I want to get as close to that as possible. I want to do the hardest races in the world. I want to tell my story, and if that's making films or doing social media more, I just want to tell my story and try to inspire others and do hard things. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's a good goal.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah. So you guys are good on the questions. Yeah. Well, have you been to Eugene before?
No, I came to Beaverton probably 10 years ago. I was working this event at Nike at the campus. So I haven't been up here to Oregon in a really long time, but it's my first time to Eugene.
So here's the schedule. We're going to go to OPH, which is Original Pancake House.
Okay.
You like breakfast, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
But this one they got Prefontaine stuff all over.
Oh, sick. So we were actually thinking of going to the pre spot.
The Rock?
Yeah, I want to.
We can do that.
Yeah, I want to leave my AA chip, my 12-year chip for pre. Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're going to do that for sure, because it's right close to the restaurant.
Yeah, okay.
It's right on campus,
cool.
But a lot of pre stuff, pre still.
We went to Hayward Field this morning to check it out. Yeah.
Oh, let me think. Oh, that's what we could do. So, no shit. Today is Friday.
We got to do Pisgah.
No, we're doing Pisgah.
Okay.
But no,
that's all I care about.
They have. I think we can get in between like 10 and something at Hayward, because it was closed when you guys were there.
Yeah.
It was locked up.
Yeah.
But there was like this little thing you can walk through and just kind of get the history of Hayward.
We kind of it's that little doorway. Yeah. We were peeking in there. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a little like 8-minute video. It talks about, I think, the men of Hayward.
Oh,
it's just
sick.
badass.
Yeah.
Like the history of track here in Eugene. So we'll get breakfast. We'll do that. We'll Pre's Rock, and then we'll go do a summit.
Sick. I love that. Yeah, that's a dream.
Yeah, because you know what, we talked about it a lot, but Pre kind of embodies this. But to give anything less than your best is a sacrifice of gift.
Exactly.
So all we're trying to do is give our best. You know, but you said something. It's like you said, you don't think you can reach your full potential.
There's always more in you. Yeah.
You can never get it.
You can never get it.
Well, you're going to keep chasing it though.
Yeah.
Try to reach that limit. Well, dude, I'm so pumped you came up here. It's
you.
an honor to sit down and talk with you.
Likewise.
I love your story. I love your journey. I know it was painful and hard, and your life hasn't been easy.
Yeah.
And people look at you right now and they think they're probably like are envious. They don't know the pain you've been through, and they don't know the reason why you are who you are is because of those challenges.
Yeah.
And it's just like knowing what you've been through and being able to talk to you. It's like, I mean, this enriches my life. You enrich my life.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So,
that means the world to me.
I think people watching this film and learning more about you, you're going to do the same for them too. And so
I hope so.
I just want to say I appreciate
Thank you so
brother.
much, Cam.
All right. Thank you. Keep hammering, guys.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use. Every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom. I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with. Giving my blood, so I am relentless. My fault, they want someone to blame. They sent their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the fuel in dirt. Feeling like Cam Haynes. Oh.